in time,
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي فسبحانك اللهم لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم. Just a recap from our previous session. We were talking about water, and we spoke about the different type of water that we have. القسم الأول من المياه. The first type of water we have is ماء المطلق, the pure water, and we said under the pure water there are different type of pure waters. Number one, ماء المطر والثلج والبحر والبر, the rainwater, the snow, and the dew. And we have the proof from Quran, Surah Al-Anfal, number 11, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَيُنَزِّلَ عَلَيْكُم مِّنَ السَّمَاءِ مَاءً لِيُطَهِّرَكُم بِهِ. We send down upon you water from the sky so as to purify yourself with it. Number two is Ma'ul Bahar, the sea or ocean water. And that also we had the hadith from the Sahaba, قال صلى الله عليه وسلم إنا نركب البحر ونحمل معانا القليل من الماء فإن تودع منها عطشنا. We are on the sea, and with us is a little water. When we perform ablution with that, then we're gonna starve, we're gonna die with thirst. فتودع بها بالماء, and we perform ablution with the sea water. فقال صلى الله عليه وسلم, Prophet Muhammad صلى الله عليه وسلم said, هو طهور. It is pure and it could purify other water. So the sea water is pure and it could purify other water too. Ma'u Zamzam. Number three is the water Zamzam. And then we had a hadith from Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam saying, دعا بسدل من الماء زمزم فشرب منه وتودع. He called somebody to get him water, and they brought him Zamzam water. He drank from the water, and then he performed ablution from the water. ماء المتغير. Number two. Now القسم الثاني, the second type of water, الماء المستعمل. Last week that was where we stopped, so we're going to brush through and then we go to our topic for today, inshallah. الماء المستعمل is the water that is being used, a used water. وهو منفصل من أعضاء المتدوي والمغتسل. It is the water that is used to perform ablution and the water that is used after janab, after ghusl. So the water that somebody used to perform ablution, حكمه, the ruling on that water, أنه طهور, it is pure. So when you use water, after that the one that is left is still pure, I could use it to perform ablution. والمغتسل, and when you use water to purify yourself from janab, وحكمه, is ruling أنه طهور كالماء المطلق, it is also pure. And طهور طاهر لنفسه مطهر لغيره, it is pure in itself and it could purify other water. So when you perform ablution, the water that is left could be used to purify another water, and another person could use to perform ablution. And a water that is used after ghusl is still pure and it could purify other water too. But in our case, somebody might say due to hygiene. So I don't think this guy or this brother is so what was the term? It's so clean for me to use his water. That's our preference. It's individual preference when it comes to that. When you think this brother's water, you cannot use it because of how he carries himself, that's a different case. But the ruling says it is still pure and it could purify other water. Sawa'an bisawa. That water and a pure water that was not used in its original state are all the same. So when we have water here that is not being used, nobody touched it, we know it's pure. And the water that somebody used to perform ablution right here, and the water that somebody also used to perform ghusl right here, they are as equal, as pure as this water. That is sawa'an bi sawa. i'tibaran bi asl, as it from its original state. حيث كان طهور, because in itself it is pure and it could purify other water. ولم يوجد دليل يخرجه عن طهوريته, and there is no proof, there is no any evidence that when somebody uses water or somebody uses the water to perform the ghusl, there is no proof that the water is impure, that somebody cannot use it again. So there is no proof on that. ولحديث ربيع بنت معيد في وصف وضوء صلى الله عليه وسلم, and the hadith that we had from Rabi', the daughter of Muayyad, on the wasf, on the clarification and the sifat that she gave on the performing of ablution of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. قالت, she said, ومسح رأسه بما بقي من وضوء في يده, and he wiped her from the water that was left in his hands during the wudu. So Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, as he was going through the process of wudu, after he washed his arms, the water that was left in his arms, he just wiped his hair with it. That means he did not put his hands in the utensil to get another water. So he just used the same water to wipe his hair. And there are other hadith to also say, same way he used another water different from the one that was left in his hand to wipe his hair. So both of them are correct, inshallah. Clear?
Yeah, I just, I'm going to wait, but I'm going to ask it now. In the performance of the wudu or the ghusl, should the water be running? Like most of our plumbing here in America, we either shower, or we turn the tap on, or we go take a bath, turn that on. Should that water be running when you're making this wudu or ghusl? Or should it just collect enough water in a container to do these purifications?
So in the 21st century, of course, we have this kind of running water,
Yeah.
but it doesn't change anything. It doesn't change anything. Same as the seawater. When you are in the ghusl state, the janab state, and you find yourself at the seashore, all you got to do is just to throw yourself in the water and get back. That's it. So whether the running water or not the running water, you have to go through the process of the ghusl. The water has to touch every part of your body. Whether it's running or it's collecting, there's no ruling on that. The most important thing is to go through the process. When you go through the process, alhamdulillah, because at the time of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, there was no shower. It's just a container that they use, or sometimes it is on a bare floor.
That's right.
So there's no
On the waters.
right. No.
The same water that you use to wipe your hair, if your hands are still wet, can you wipe your feet?
They did not say that.
That's what I'm just asking.
They did not say that.
Okay.
It is just from the hand to the hair.
Mhm.
But there's no hadith that says using it on your feet.
Gotcha.
And the process of tayammum is different as we
Right,
mentioned
right,
last week.
right.
Yeah.
So you said that, like, if you're at the beach, and you need to make wudu, you can just, of course we can use the sand, but we could just dip in the water and that's it. We good?
No, that's ghusl.
Oh, ghusl.
Ghusl.
Yeah,
You just dip yourself in the
Just dip in
water and you go. You don't need to go through the process.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, just dip. Or the pool. If it's personal pool, it's your pool. It's not for
Somebody
commercial use or the public use. You just dip yourself in it and you're good.
So, subhanAllah, so when you say going through the process, is that doing the process of going through wudu and actually doing the hands, arms, and face and all that stuff, as opposed to just jumping in and getting out?
Yeah. So the difference between the
And this
process
is only for when you're making ghusl after janab.
after janab.
Okay.
So, you know, before wetting your body, your entire body, you have to go through the process of the wudu
Okay.
during the janab time. The ghusl.
Mm-hmm.
You have to wash your hand. You have to wash your private part, your hands.
Mm-hmm.
That wudu. You have to go before you pour the water in your body, or you divide the body part depending on the hadith that you want to go with.
Mm-hmm.
When you find yourself at the sea,
Mm-hmm.
you don't have to perform ablution.
Okay. You just jump in and.
Jumping in, having all your body wet
Mm-hmm.
is sufficient.
It's sufficient.
No, it's sufficient.
And the same for your personal swimming pool.
And the same for personal swimming pool. نعم روى أحمد وأبو داود ولفظ أبي داود أن رسول صلى الله عليه وسلم مصر رأسه من فضل ماء كان بيده. Same hadith that we mentioned, the water that was left in the hands of Prophet Muhammad صلى الله عليه وسلم, he used to wipe his hair. وعن أبي هريرة رضي الله عنه قال أن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم لقي في بعض طرق المدينة وهو جنب فانخنس منه فذهب واغتسل ثم جاء فقال أين كنت يا أبا هريرة؟ فقال كنت جنبا فكرهت أن أجالس معك وأنا على غير طاهر. So this hadith, Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam say, the narrator Abu Hurairah says, لقي في بعض طرق المدينة وهو جنبا. He was on some ways in Medina, وهو جنوب, and he was in the state of impure, janab. فانخنس منه فذهب فاغتسل. So when he saw Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he dodged, he escaped, he returned to go perform ghusl. ثم جاء, and then he returned. After he returned, فقال, after he returned, Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, أين كنت يا أبا هريرة? Where have you been, Abu Hurairah? And he replied, كنت جنبا. I was in the state of impure, in that state of janab. فكرهت أن أجالس معك وأنا على غير طاهر. And I dislike to sit with you when I was in the state of impure. فقال صلى الله عليه وسلم, Prophet Muhammad صلى الله عليه وسلم said, Subhanallah, glory be to Allah, إن المؤمن لا ينجس. The believer is not impure, meaning the believers are pure. Whether you are in the state of janab or not, you are pure. رواه الجماعة. This hadith was narrated by all the narrators. ووجه دلالة الحديث أن المؤمن إذا كان لا ينجس فلا وجه لجعل الماء قاعدا لطهوريته بمجرد مماسة له إذا غاية الطاهر بطاهر وهو لا يؤثر. So this is saying the mu'min, the believer, is not impure, is pure, and there is nothing wrong with the believer using a water after a believer uses water, because the person in itself is pure, and whatever water is left after the purification could be used. There's nothing that could change the water, the essence of the water. روي عن علي وابن عمر وأبي أمامة وعطاء والحسن والمكحول والنخعي أنه قالوا في من نسي مسح رأسه فوجد بللا في اللحية يكفيه مسح بذلك. All these names that I mentioned, Ali, Umar, Abi Umama, Ata, Wal Hasan, Makhu, Al Nakhi, all this says, أنه قالوا, they said, في من نسي مسح رأسه, those who forget, if you forget the wiping of your hair, فوجد بللا في اللحية, and you find water that had already wet your beard, يكفيه مسح بذلك. It is sufficient for you to use that wet beard to wipe your hair. So if your beard, like this brother's beard or your beard or Brad Davis' beard, you know, they have the beard. So the wet beard is sufficient for you to use that water to wipe your hair. Now, al-qism al-thalith, number 4, from the type of water that we could use. Al-ma'u alladhi khalatahu tahir, the water that is mixed with something which is pure. Kasabun, like the soap. Was za'afaran. Za'afaran is like something saffron. Right. Was daqiqa, porridge or flour. وغيرها من أشياء التي تنفق عنها غالبا, and everything that is pure in itself that is mixed with water. حكمه, its ruling, أنه طهور ما دام حافظا لإطلاقه. The ruling on it is pure. That water which is mixed with soap is pure. The water that is mixed with the saffron is pure. The water that is mixed with the flour is pure. ما دام حافظه لإطلاقه. So far as that it does not change the state, the original state of the water. So we have a bucket of water or a bottle of water or a cup of water, and a soap drop in that, and you take the soap out of it. At that same time, that soap and that water, that the soap does not change the purity of the water. Madam, so far as the soap does not stay in the water to make it what was it? Soapy, to make it soapy, to make that that ladder come out.
Yeah.
To change that state. It's pure.
So if you just dipped it and come into
When just dip it and out, it does not change the state of the pure water. An example is a cup of water. We know it's water. When you put tea in that cup, it's no more water. It becomes tea. But in the original state of the water, the cup, it was clean water, pure water that could be used to perform ablution. But the moment the tea is put in or the coffee is put in and it changes the state of the water, it's no more called water. We call it tea or coffee. So that is the explanation of the sabun. And za'afaran too, same. When it's put it in the water and it does not change the state of the water, it is still pure. Tahur, it is pure and it could purify. فإن خرج عن إطلاقه بحيث صار لا يتناوله اسم ماء مطلق كان طاهرا في نفسه. So if in that state it does not change that water, it still stays as water, as pure water, because it hasn't changed the originality of the water. So that water will be called water. But if it's changed, it is clean water. That could be used but not to perform ablution. The example is as the cup of tea that I gave. The state of the cup of water is clean and is pure. Could be used to purify and could be purified. But as soon as the tea is put in, it's no more purified, but it's clean because you could drink it.
Saffron.
It's saffron to say we're gonna come on saffron inshallah because that is like something which has smell. So we're gonna come on that inshallah. It smells whether good or bad. So in that state, the tea is clean. It could be usable,
But it's not purified.
but it cannot be purified. It cannot purify you. So that is the clarity. That's the difference between pure water, clean water, the water that could be used to purify. So
It's halal to drink.
it's halal to
Make
drink.
wudu, ghusl.
It's permitted to drink, but you cannot use to perform ablution or ghusl. You can't use it in that state. فعن عطية قالت دخل علينا رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم حين توفيت ابنته زينب فقال اغسلنها 3 أو 5 أو أكثر من ذلك إن رأيتن بماء وسدر وجعلن في آخرة كافور أو شيء من كافور. This hadith is brought by Atiyah. She said, دخل علينا صلى الله عليه وسلم. Prophet Muhammad صلى الله عليه وسلم entered into us. At the time we were bathing his daughter Zainab when she passed away. فقال, and Prophet Muhammad صلى الله عليه وسلم says, wash her 3 times or 5 times or more than that. That is the ghusl. 3, 5 or more than that.
Always odd number.
Always odd number. إن رأيتن بماء سدر. So you keep on washing her. So far as dirt keeps on coming out of her, keep on washing her. Even if it is 30 times, 50 times, keep on washing her. Until you realize that dirt is not stopping. Then you find something to clog those spaces that the dirt is coming out from. After that, wash her bisidrin with the lot tree. So,
Lotus. Right? Lotus.
is that lotus?
Yes.
The lotus tree. So, that has a little bit of smell. So the saffron comes there. After the ghusl, that is after the ghusl, then you wash her with that water. You put that lotus tree in the water to mix it, or the saffron to mix it, or kafur, camphor, or anything that has good smell in the water, then wash her with that. Now, فَإِذَا فَرَغْنَا فَآذِنِي. When you finish that, call me. Call me to come in. فلما فرغ آذناه فأعطاه حكوه فقال أشعرنها إياه تعني إذاره. After they called him, when he entered, he gave them al-izara. Izara is when you are in the state of Hajj. The clothes that you use on the upper part of the body, not the one that on the lower part. The one on the upper part, that is idar. So he gave them the one that he had it on the upper part of the body for them to use it to cover her. Rawah al-Jama'ah, and this was narrated by all the narrators. So that means the saffron, the sidr, the camphor, are used after the ghusl.
The last washing.
After the last washing, after the ghusl, that is used to give the mayyit
Fragrance.
a very good
Smell.
smell, inshallah.
I'm good. I just rub my ears.
والميت لا يغسل إلا ما يصح به تطهير للحي. And a dead person is not used, water is not used on a dead person except for the water which is pure to be used on somebody who is living. So the water that I could use to perform ghusl or ablution is the same water that we can use on a dead person. وعند أحمد والنسائي وابن خزيمة من حديث هانئ أن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم اغتسل هو وميمونة من إناء واحد. So Ahmed والنسائي and خزيمة reported from Han أن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم, Prophet Muhammad صلى الله عليه وسلم, had performed ghusl with his wife Maimuna from one
Vessel. One vessel.
one vessel. Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and his wife Maimuna had performed ghusl from one vessel. He fetches water, she does sing. And there are a lot of hadith that state he used to bath her and she also used to bath him. So we're going to come into that because there are some weak hadith that has been reported that Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that it is haram, not makruh, or not that it is haram to see the private part of your wife. This is weak. This is weak, and this is rejected. It's weak and rejected based on hadith of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So Prophet Muhammad sallallahu.
Since you were talking about using the same vessel for both people performing wudu, I was going to wait to the end to clarify, but since you raised that issue, I wanted to get the issue of using the same water that someone has performed ghusl or wudu in. To clarify, we're talking about a vessel that you've dipped in and used the water. Like when you're rejecting your water, you're not spitting back into that vessel.
No, you're not.
And you're not standing in that vessel to wash yourself. So when you're talking about using the water that someone has used to make ghusl, you're not talking about the water that has come off of their body.
No.
You know, you're talking about the water that was in the vessel. So they reach their hand in and they use it, they spit away over here, so that water is still pure. But if they were spitting back into it, or if it was coming off of their body back into it, then that would be a whole different issue.
Right, that's not a different issue.
I just want,
Also, you were thinking that
That's
way?
what I was getting at, until like.
that's why I want to make sure that we clarify.
You know, he's rinsing off and this, with feces and after, what is that? I
Nah,
can't see that.
subhanallah. No, that is a different case, inshallah. that is not even clean. That is not hygiene.
Yeah.
That's right, I didn't think
I
of
just
it.
want to make sure that's the point of clarity.
That's a language problem, right there. That's another problem, you know,
Right.
inconsistency thing.
So, the al-qism al-rabi', number 4. We still have time, right?
Yes, yes, you got about 10 more minutes.
القسم الرابع الماء الذي لاقته النجاسة, the water that is mixed or attached with impurity. وله حالتان, it is in two states, two different states. Number 1, أن تغير نجاسه طعمه أو لونه أو ريحه. We mentioned this last week. When the pure water, when the impurity changes the taste of the water or the scent of the water, or the color of the water. وهو في هذه الحالة لا يجوز التطهير بإجماع. It's not recommended to use it to perform ghusl or wudu with that. So when the taste, the rih, the smell, or the color changes, then it's out of purity,
Purification.
out of purification. You cannot use it. الثاني أن يبقى الماء على إطلاق بأن لا يتغير أحد أو صافية الثلاثة. What is left, as we mentioned earlier, from the water, which صافية الثلاثة are the three things we mentioned: the color, the taste, and the smell. When they did not change the water, then it does not affect it. When the impurity does not change the water, the color, that impurity does not change the taste, or does not change the smell, then it is pure. An example is we have the ablution cans in the bathroom, right? And we know the bathroom is not pure. And somebody or a little kid just use the ablution can and just dump it or dip it in a bottle of water. So far as it does not change the color, the taste, or the smell, it's still pure. That's on the second ruling on impurity mixed with pure water. That's what we're talking about. Impurity mixed with pure water. When the impurity is mixed with pure water and the water changes its color or the smell or the taste, then it's not used for ablution or ghusl. It's impure. But when the impurity is deep in the water, but it does not affect the taste, the smell, or the color, it's pure to be used now.
I just want to make sure I understand. So basically, you're going to have all three conditions on that water before it becomes impure. If it's just one of those conditions of being met, as far as the smell, for example, but there's no change in the color of the water or the smell of the water.
All
That
three
water
of those
still,
changes.
so all three have to be present.
No,
Not at the same time.
not at the same time.
Even-
When the color changes, it's impure. When the smell changes, it's impure. When the taste changes, it's impure. Everyone is standing on its own. It's not all the three. You don't have to meet all the three. When you meet one of them, it nullifies it. Now, so on the second state of the water, وحكمه, its ruling أنه طاهر مطهر. It is pure and could purify. If the color, the taste, or the smell does not change, then it is طاهر مطهر. It's pure and could purify.
I got one more question on that.
Now,
So if you've got that, can you pour purified water, and if it changes back the color to a clear water, or take the smell off of it, does that make it pure again?
so قل أو أكثر. Just that. When the impurity is small in the pure water, or it's big, or it's large in that water, so far it does not change the color, the taste, or the smell, it stays in its purity. Or you have added another water until the color changes back to its originality, then it becomes pure. So far as there's no taste, smell, or color change, then it should be good. دليل ذلك حديث أبي هريرة رضي الله عنه قال قام أعرابي فبال في مسجد الرسول صلى الله عليه وسلم فقام إليه الناس ليقعوا به. So Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu narrated, an Arab came to the masjid of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and urinated in the masjid, and they stood up aggressively to attack him. فقال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم, Prophet Muhammad صلى الله عليه وسلم said, دعوا وأرقوه, leave him and let him continue his urine. فسجل من الماء أو ذنوبا, and after he had finished, Prophet Muhammad صلى الله عليه وسلم ordered them to put in water at the place that he urinated, so that it will soak and take the impurity out of the masjid. So this tells us how to deal with our non-believers, and whenever we find situations or issues with our kids on our praying mats, this is how we deal with that. When they urinate or when they pour something that is impure on that, this is how we deal with this kind of situations. فإنما بعثت ميسرين ولم تبعثوا معسرين, because you are created, or you are sent to make things easier, not to make things difficult. رواه الجماعة. This hadith was narrated by all the narrators. وحديث أبي سعيد الخدري رضي الله عنه قال قيل يا رسول الله أتودع من بئر بضاعة فقال صلى الله عليه وسلم الماء طهور لا ينجس شيء. Al-Khudri narrated, he said, قيل يا رسول الله أتودع من بئر يضاعة, do we perform ablution with water that is stagnant? Prophet ﷺ said, Al-Ma'u tahur, it is pure in itself and it could purify. La yanzu shay, there's nothing that could make it impure. So, Ma'u bi'r Budaa is a well in Medina that he was asking Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam that if they could use it to perform ablution or not. And Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said it is pure and it could purify other water. رواه أحمد والشافعي وأبو داود والنسائي والترمذي وحسنه وأحمد وحديث بئر. And these are the chain of narrators on this hadith. So we continue. 2 more minutes. Okay, 2 more minutes. I'll leave it for questions, inshallah, so that we continue the next time, inshallah.
So the smell, the taste, the color, and stagnated water. The stagnated water is pure, but if any of those 3, or even one of them, show up in the stag water, then it's impure.
Unless you add something purified water to remove all.
To remove all that which will make it impure. Yeah.
Good use of time. I think I'm going to stop the recording from the Fiqh, and then the Arabic I'm not going to record until we get to a formal class setting, because right now you're just going to do the assessments, right?
Inshallah.
Right. So So we'll close out from this one.
سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك نشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والعصر إن الإنسان لفي خسر إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر